Hey there, it's BoardGameDave. As you may know, I'm an elementary music teacher, and school actually just started back up this week. And with that in mind, I thought it might be nice to do a little retrospective on some of the games that I played this summer. And I do mean some of the games because I actually played 66 different games this summer, many of which were new to me, for a total of 190 plays. A lot of those at family vacations and get-togethers. I played games with tons of different people. I took my games all over the place, and I even added 7 games to my collection this summer. The 5 games that I spent the most time with this summer were Brass Birmingham, Tiny Towns, Concordia, Marco Polo 2 in the Service of the Con, and The King's Dilemma. But today I just want to talk about my top 10 most notable new to me games. These are games that I played for the first time ever this summer, and they're games that I found very memorable and that I enjoyed a lot. The first new game I played this summer was Creature Comforts. This is a really adorable little game about these critters that are getting ready for the winter. I guess they're gonna hibernate or something, and they need to collect cozy items to kind of make their hibernation much more cozy. So you are gonna be sending your little meeples out to gather resources, and then you're going to convert those resources into cute items like candles and socks and bookshelves and fairy gardens. It is really fantastic, really cute theme, and the art is so cute. It's definitely a family game. If you have children who are gamers, they could certainly handle this game. And I love that there's these little Easter eggs of other famous board games in this game, which is really awesome. So I really enjoy playing Creature Comforts. Absolutely a great family, cute worker placement game. Number 2 was Carnegie. This is a much heavier Euro game all about Andrew Carnegie, art by Ian O'Toole, gorgeous art. This is an amazing game. I really enjoyed these Euro mechanisms. There's some action selection. You've got your own player board where you're adding these different things that can bolster different actions, kind of chain the little actions that you do. And then there's also this kind of area control thing on the map where you're putting down these little factories or industries. It's really incredible. And the final score of the game, the goal of the game, is to give the most money away, in charity and stuff. So really interesting. I love the theme. The mechanisms and the theme mesh very well together. You're establishing these trade routes, I think, on the map. But I loved it. Really interesting things going on here with choosing the actions, with these little gear things that slide out of your board. It's a lot to explain and it's a lot to teach, but it's a really good game. Solid Euro game for sure. Third was Strike. Now, technically, I've never played the actual game, but I stumbled across a watch it played video of Strike, and I was like, heck, I've got a whole bunch of leftover dice. I've got a dice tray. I could certainly chuck some dice in there. Little did I know that this would become the game of the summer. I played this game 30 different times. I taught it to 18 different people, and everybody loved it. We would just take these dice and chuck them, and we played it in a camper. We played it on the beach. Like anywhere you go, you can play Strike. It's awesome. Now, obviously, I recommend you go get the actual game, but if you have some spare dice lying around and something to chuck some dice in, give it a try, see if you like it. We really found it extremely fun. Fourth is The King's Dilemma. This is a campaign legacy game that my friends and I are currently working our way through. We started it this summer, and it's a really interesting game. It's not like a board game in the strictest terms, in my opinion. Really what the game comes down to is these different situations show up, and everybody votes aye or nay on these different scenarios. And the really cool part is that these scenarios, whatever you choose, that decision shows up later in the storyline. So the storylines evolve as you make these different decisions, and there's all sort of like moral quandaries and stuff that come up, and you're negotiating and contemplating, well, what's the best move here, and everyone's got their own personal hidden objective and stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's a great little, it's almost like a social, not deduction, but a lot of social interaction. So not my typical kind of game, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Fifth is Tiny Towns. Now, I've talked about Tiny Towns a whole bunch on this channel already. You know I love this game. You can watch the review that Hannah and I did right there, but suffice to say, it was a huge hit this summer. I taught it to so many people and they all loved it. Tiny Towns is a great family game. Absolutely go check it out. It's amazing. By the way, I do have a brand new copy of Tiny Towns that I'll most likely be giving away on Instagram very soon. So if you're not following me on Instagram yet, there's a link down in the description. go check it out, if nothing else, to maybe win a copy of Tiny Towns. Sixth was Merchants of the Dark Road. Now, this is a game that I was really looking forward to playing, and I'm so glad that I did this summer. It's got gorgeous art, wonderful components, even though we didn't have the metal coins, but that's okay. You've got these caravans, and basically you are a merchant, and you're going to be going around this rondel doing different actions. So you're buying goods, selling goods, placing them onto your cart. You can get some pets or like companions. Let me show you the carts. So it's a little bit hard to see here, but as you get goods, you're going to load them into your cart. So there's a bit of this tile placement thing going on, and you pick up passengers who want to go on quests, and you go down this dark road, and other people can come with you if they want to take some of that risk. And also the whole play mechanism is based on these dice. So you move your dice up along your wagon, and that determines what actions you can take and the value of the dice. It's all very, very clever, and it's a really unique game in that sense. But thematically, very simple. You are buying and trading and kind of selling things to the people who need them, and it's got this great fantasy theme. It's awesome. I definitely will be looking forward to playing it again. That is Merchants of the Dark Road. Seventh is Moonrakers. This game is deck building meets negotiation meets outer space, and they had a huge Kickstarter campaign for the expansions this summer, but I just played the base game for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. We played a 3-player game, and I think it probably shines with more players. I feel like there was some potential that we were missing out on with 3 players, but really interesting game. You obviously build your deck, get better cards, better abilities that let you do more things, and you're going out on these different missions that can get harder and harder, and the harder the mission, the more coins, the more points that you can get by completing them, but usually you need other people to help you to complete those quests. So really interesting concept, very unique gameplay. I liked it a lot, and that was Moonrakers. Eighth is Crown of Amara. Now, I just got this game recently, and I've only played it solo, but I have been loving it so far. I'm really looking forward to playing it with other people. This game is fantastic. The game centers around these 2 rondels, and you're going to be sending your workers around the countryside to get resources over here, and then you're going to use the workers in here in town to kind of convert those resources into other coins or books or signet rings or into points. And there's so much going on. Thematically, it's not super original, but the gameplay is just super clever. Your actions are dictated by a deck of cards that you have that tell you what actions you can do, and also how far you can move around the rondel. So that's really interesting. I just love it. The artwork is great. The resources are great. There's so many interesting twists on the rondel, Euro trope. So definitely worth checking out. Somehow it just kind of flew under a lot of people's radars, but you should check out Crown of Amara. Really solid game. Number 9 is Hues and Cues. This is a game that my cousin Josh brought to our family getaway, and it was awesome. So super basic premise. The board is just this grid of hundreds of different colors, and your goal is just to give a 1-word clue that'll get people to guess as close as they can to the color you had in mind, and then you give a 2-word clue and you do it again, and the closer everybody is to the, obviously the correct color, the more points you get, and that's the whole game. It's such a simple concept, but really creative and clever, and I was just terrible at it, and I still had a great time. Apparently I don't see colors the way other people do, but there was a really cool moment. This was actually really neat, where I had my card and it said, whatever, E12 or whatever. And I said autumnal, autumn, descriptor or whatever, autumnal. And Hannah guessed on her first try, put the cone exactly on the right color. It was awesome, really cool. So yeah, that's Hues and Cues. Super simple premise, but a great party game. You should definitely look into it. It's a lot more fun than I would have thought it was, and it was just hilarious. I loved it. And finally, number 10 is Hallertau, a very recent, fantastic game by Uwe Rosenberg. I actually played this one time on Tabletop Simulator solo, and I really enjoyed it, so no surprise, I loved playing it in person. A 3-player game with Frank and Gary. Let's take a look here. It's Uwe Rosenberg. It's a farming game. You are going to be planting your crops into these fields, and you're going to be fertilizing them and irrigating them. And you're going to be doing this by placing your workers, which are cubes, onto this shared action board, which has tons of different actions like cultivating, selling your land, buying sheep at the market, so on and so forth. And yeah, over time, you're going to gather lots of different ingredients or components or resources like hops and barley and sheep and brick and all this stuff. And essentially what you're going to do with all those resources is, and this is very abstract, is moving your house to the right, which apparently was a really important thing to do in Bavaria. But anyway, by spending these resources per round, you get to move these little workhouses over to the side, and then your big house moves over to the right and smashes through boulders and stuff to get points. It's a Euro game, don't question it. And that's the gist of the game. But the best part perhaps is the cards in this game, like in Agricola, like in Feast for Odin, like in Caverna. There's these cards that kind of like, they don't break the game, but they give you these special abilities and bonuses and stuff. These are fantastic. Some of them give you income, some of them give you endgame scoring, all sorts of things. There they are. So yeah, it's great. It's Uwe Rosenberg. Can't go wrong. I loved Hallertau. Probably wouldn't buy it because I have some similar games, but I really enjoyed playing it. And those were just 10 of the most notable games that were new to me this summer. That was probably not even half of all the games that I played for the first time. There was Viticulture World, there was the Century Golem Edition sequels, there was Smartphone Inc., there was Colosseum, there was Dice Settlers. The list goes on and on and on and on, but I kept it at 10 partially because my voice is starting to go from teaching all week. But anyways, please let me know in the comments down below what some of your favorite games that you played this summer were. I would love to read all about them. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week, take care, and happy gaming. Bye.